Practicing medicine without insurance is possible. Imagine a private practice where you get to see your best patients every day, providing medical services you truly enjoy, all without the hassle of insurance. My name is Dr. T. Nguyen, and I'm a recovering specialist who was completely burned out from insurance-based medicine. I pivoted into direct care, where patients pay me directly for my medical services and have never looked back. If you're a private practice owner or planning to become one who's looking to be free of the grind of insurance and you're craving simplicity, efficiency, and connection with patients, you are in the right place. This podcast will help you map out your exit plan and uncover the mindset needed to thrive in today's economy. Welcome to the Direct Care Podcast for Specialists. Selling is not gross unless you're this guy. How do you like that for a title? I wanted to share an experience I had recently from a sales call because I want to save you money and time. It's going to illustrate the wrong way to complete a sales call as a business owner. I was the customer on this call and I had inquired with a digital marketing company to see what they had to offer. They specialized in healthcare practices and had this really enticing offer that I was willing to try. I got on the call to learn about what they do, and then 40 minutes go by, and I'm thinking all of this sounds really great. It's what I'm looking for. Then the time came to finish the call, and the guy asked, what do I think about moving forward? So I said, as I always do, I'll think about it. I was sold on the idea, but I wasn't really feeling safe with him, at least, as a business partner. And I treat all of my interactions with people as if they were a business partner. Could I trust them? Could I work with them? Is this somebody who can really carry me to where I want to go? So here's where it went really sour really fast. He does what any experienced salesperson does, and he asked more about my hesitation, about why I wouldn't close on that call, and how long it was going to take for me to get back to him. I said it typically like to take 3 to 4 weeks before I make a decision. And he kind of had this energy switch, like he kind of scoffed at what I was saying. And then he starts his next line with, which I'm going to paraphrase, what I'm about to say is not a sleazy sales pitch, but I want you to have the understanding that we only work with a certain type of individual. Those who are decisive, because if you're the type to be decisive, you will convey a better message to your patients when you're selling them a package. There's just an energy to who you are, to how you get people to do what you're asking them to do. So within an instance, my maybe answer became a solid no. I was very decisive about this decision. I was very quick to realize this is not who I want to work with. So here's what you can learn from this call. I already knew going into the call that they were going to do a hard pitch for me to buy in by the end of the call. So they were going to give me some deals. They're going to make it worth my while. They're going to make me feel like I will lose something if I didn't make that decision that moment, and so on. So I'm very experienced with these types of calls. Lucky for them, or unfortunately for them, I'm not that desperate. I'm just coming in as curious. I just want to know what they have to offer. And then I want to decide later on when I call other people, essentially, because I'm going to do my homework. Plus, I hold the money, thus I hold the power. I get to make the decision, which is why I love to be a business owner. I can decide whether or not to move forward. Now, if you are going to provide your patients with an offer to buy something of yours, a service of yours, it does have to be something that aligns with you. Like you trust that whatever it is you're selling will help them. And you have full faith that it's the right option for them. So that is something I do agree with. Whatever it is that you sell, it has to be in line with you believing it's going to work. But here is what he got very wrong. He did not establish rapport with me. He did not gain my trust until the last, even the last 10 minutes was like, whatever I did feel like was kind of a trust thing, it slipped really fast. So he did not maintain that trust by the end of the call. And that is so important to do if you're going to ask somebody to pay you money for what you have. So what he did was he pushed and he pushed, which made me even more resistant. And it even solidified to me that this is not the company I want to work with. So I ended up completing the call, which was a full hour at this point. I said, thanks for the warning, and then I hung up. It was really a shitty way to end the call because, quite frankly, I left feeling really pissed. And I felt pissed about not being given my space, not being respected for what I wanted. I wanted space. I wanted time to think about it. And I never recommend that you leave your potential patients feeling like this. And not for you to feel like you had to push for the sale on a call or even in person. What we do as medical experts is not push for anything, we educate. And sometimes what we share with people does take time to marinate. And it's going to cost them money, right? So it's into our benefit to give them the space and the respect to think about their pros and cons. Hopefully you provided them with enough information so that they can make a choice on their own terms. So this is an example of a very desperate sales pitch, and it's not my style. I have learned from many others this technique, and to me, it's gross. It's the reason why many doctors, including myself, hesitate to make an offer because a lot of people are just doing it wrong. So you may have even been on the receiving end of a gross sales pitch yourself, and you're like, selling is gross, but it doesn't have to be. There's an art to do it, which is something that I'm going to share today. You might be wondering why I was even looking at a marketing company for my direct care practice, because the general consensus from other direct specialty care doctors is to not waste money on any agency until you've done the work to get people to know you, to like you, and to trust you within your community, within your ecosphere. Because no company can represent you, only you can do that. A company would then just add fuel to your marketing efforts, but all of the pieces have to be in place first. You have to be established. You have to have proven that you have helped people doing what you do. And then you start adding dollars into your marketing efforts to grow it a little bit faster. So that's what I wanted to do. I've been at this for quite a while, and I was just looking to add fuel to what already works. Needless to say, I'm still looking, and I'm still working on my marketing too. So what's a better way to pitch your offer? First, you have to know what you are offering, whether it's in your current private practice and you're adding cash services, or you have a direct specialty care practice and you're wanting people to buy your stuff. I can tell you what it's not. Your offer is not that you are cheaper than insurance. That's not a good offer, because then you're fighting for bottom of the barrel deals, and then you're getting bottom of the barrel types of buyers. And that's not really what we're here for. We give excellent care, and we want to attract the types of people we want to take care of. It's also not that you got a new expensive machine. That can be a secondary explanation to what you offer as to how you get people better, but that should never really be the leading part of a conversation. The leading part of the conversation is the problem you solve. And then the secondary information is this machine helps accelerate it. So you don't want to lead with technology, because anybody of any specialty can buy that machine, right? But what is it that you have that's unique? What is the knowledge that you have in how it's used that gives people the solution they're looking for? That's kind of what we need to learn and tweak. And it's not that the prospective person's life is going to end without you. This is like very manipulative when you say things in a way where it's like, if you don't do this, you're going to suffer the consequences. That's not really how you leverage your offer. You can leverage it by providing them the pros and cons and the information and the statistics, the data, in which if somebody doesn't take your offer or your solution, then, there are consequences, right? But we don't want to make it like an ultimatum, and we don't want to insult the people in saying you're making a dumb choice by not choosing what I have to offer. No, we don't want to do that. We want to empower people. So your offer has to be something that is not available with conventional option. So it's the solution that the conventional way has not been able to solve. So you have to ask yourself, why are people not getting better? And why are they so serious about wanting to pay out of pocket to get a solution? By the time somebody who has insurance finds us, they have tried everything and they're hoping you have a magic pill. So what is your magic pill? What is it that conventional options isn't doing that you can do better? That is what's going to help you as a direct care practice stand out. That's the purpose of direct care in the first place. We exist to fill the gap. It's not that we are a replacement for insurance, although we can do some things that insurance covers, but people who don't have insurance or high deductible are still going to choose to pay out of pocket for higher quality care. What you really want to think about in your specialty is what problem can you solve that hasn't been solved already with conventional care? That's really a key question to answer. So for me, I really love taking the time to educate on preventive care because sick care or insurance care, they come to me when a foot needs to come off. And that's like way too late, right? Like I can do the technical work to amputate, but do I love that? No. Were there steps to prevent that? Definitely. So that's where I like to focus on is how can I prevent that level of devastation? That's taking more time to talk to the patients and catching them early enough to educate them to know where to go and then make the referrals and so on. So anyway, if somebody had undergone a traditional surgery, for example, that left them with a painful scar, that's something that I can fix. Oftentimes, patients like that get dismissed as crazy or they're given pain medications, or frankly, some surgeons deny that they had any complications with their surgery. So they end up referring it out. So out of sight, out of mind, unfortunately. And these patients are struggling. And there are people who we can fix or we can help at least educate and let them know what their options are. So those are the types of things that I think about in my practice. And then I invite you to think about what you can do in your practice too to make yours stand out. So I've been at this long enough to know that my solution is something that's not available with conventional ways. And the secret in that is really the packaging, the way that you put things together into a little metaphorical gift basket tied up with a bow, and you hand it over to the patient and say, here, all of the problems that you're experiencing is in this box. I've packaged it up for you nicely so you don't think I'm nickel and diming you for every little service that you need to have. It's all in this package. It's a worry-free, stress-free experience that you'll have with me. And that's my secret. Can a doctor in the insurance-based practice do the exact same thing I do? Definitely. We all were trained the same way, right? We all have this level of standard of care. But because I have my practice and I own it, I have the creative freedom to package it in a way that speaks to the person I'm trying to help. That is what makes a direct care practice uniquely different. The way we package things, the way we deliver our care, and it's the way we communicate that offer. So the offer that we provide has to be compelling to invite somebody to even get on the call. And this concept comes from Million Dollar Offers. It's a great short read by Alex Hormozy, and he's got a great podcast too. I'll put the information down in the show notes for you to look at, but it tells you exactly this. How do you stand out so that you are not comparable to other options? And for us, we are not comparable to insurance options because insurance itemizes care. Each service we provide has a code, right? There's got to be a CPT code for the procedure, but there's also got to be the ICD-10 or diagnosis codes that has to be attached to that procedure. And then if you're doing more than one procedure, there's also going to be modifiers. Like it's a really annoying mess to try to take care of a patient fully, but being stopped and interrupted with these codes. And these codes is what gives you value, unfortunately. You are valued based on the codes you provide. And that's why sometimes we see people overbilling or overcoding because they're just trying to make more money. And that's like the wrong way to go about medicine. But anyway, if you see the problem with insurance care, it's itemized care, then we can treat it with all-inclusive care or packaged care. It's the box that we deliver to the patient. We make it seem stress-free. We make it stress-free. We don't just make it seem that way, but we actually deliver what we promise. So the 4 things that we need to have in place when we are talking to people, when we are trying to sell to people really, is number 1, we have to have an offer that speaks to the solution. We are not selling a laser. We're selling what the laser can do. So what we're doing is drawing the picture for the individual of a life without pain. So what does life look like if they didn't have the pain? They can travel, they can play, they can do their fun activities, play with grandchildren, whatever it is that you want them to see beyond their current pain point. That's the solution you have to offer. And then you're packaging it in a way that makes life easier, that makes what you offer a no-brainer. It's having everything in this program. So you make this option an easy pick. You make sure that you don't give them a bunch of information that requires decision making. Should I get the boot with the treatment? Should I not? Should I choose this boot? Should I go to Amazon? Like, no, don't do that. Just put it all in a package. So if you provide a surgical procedure, include like a boot, include the aftercare, include all the things that will help them get better during their healing journey. That is all inclusive care. For me, I also include 6 months of aftercare. That way they don't have to think about every transaction being a charge, because that's what will stress people out. They're like hesitant to pay each time they have to interact with you. So instead, create the package. Think about your specialty. If you are in fertility, you are providing them a life where they can have a child, where they can live and have memories of a family. That is the picture you're painting for that individual. If you are fixing people's libido, you are giving them a life where they can have joyful sex with their partners and a meaningful and lasting relationship with their loved ones. If you are treating people with pain, you're helping them live without pain. You're helping them enjoy their usual activities, to play with children. Make sure you're able to paint the picture of what life looks like without their current problem. Whatever specialty you are solving a problem. Number 2, what to do when you are making these offers is make sure you are instilling trust, which means you might need to have more than one interaction with them. So if they're meeting you for the first time for the initial consultation, you got to really reel them in to trust you. How do you do that? You have rapport with them. You make conversation. You dig into why they're dealing with the current situation by asking them meaningful questions. Like, how long has this been going on? And then you empathize. That sounds like you've gone through a lot. Now here's my solution, right? And maybe they don't buy in that first interaction. Have a follow-up. Call them the next day and say, "Thank you, Mrs. Smith, for visiting me yesterday. I just wanted to check in to see if you had any questions about any of the information I provided you with yesterday." Now, your intent is not to close the sale. Okay, that is like not the focus here. The focus here is helping them navigate whatever situation they currently have. If they are trying to decide if they have the money or not, you can help them navigate that. You can draw the picture to, okay, you can go with your insurance option. That's a logical reason. That's a logical thing for you to do. And here's how I'm different. I just do it all for you. It's all here. You don't have to think about it, right? So make sure that you find a way to instill trust. And that might mean a lot of touch points. The first visit, the after call, maybe if you've got an email newsletter where you start or continue the conversation where they see your name frequently, or maybe you pop up in their YouTube reels or their Instagram channels and so on, and they see you everywhere. That's when they start to trust you. The more interactions, the better. And if you're not on social media yet, this is why you should be, because these are the assets that work for you when you're not actively with them. Which brings me to the third point, the social proof. Proving that you've already helped others like them is social proof. Other ways of having social proof is your social media channel, but also your Google reviews. So these are the assets that you can own and show others that you've helped people as well. Now, if you're new and you don't have a Google review already, then you got to start creating one. How do you do that? You sign up to Google, have a place of business, they need a location, don't use your home. Maybe ask, if you don't have a location, you can ask somebody to sublease, whatever. But once you get that set up, then you can start asking people for a Google review. And there's a short link you can send out by text or email. Or you can also purchase one of those tap cards where people can just tap with their phone and then it'll pull up your Google review. And if you think you don't have any Google reviews to collect, think of all the people you've given free information to. You better ask them for that trade. You better ask them for the review. All right, and the last thing I'll share is number 4. We are all very impatient, myself included. But the key ingredient to making this work is time. Sometimes it just takes time to build this engine, to make constant refinement. Because if one offer doesn't work, that doesn't mean you give up. You just keep tweaking it until it does. And, in the instance that I shared with you on this call, the man did not give me time to absorb the information to make a good decision. He rushed me, which did the opposite of what he thought he was doing. You can't rush this. There are some things you cannot rush. There are some people who don't like being rushed. So time is on your side. There's always enough time. Cheese needs time to mature. Wine needs time to mature. Decisions need time to mature. Time is a good thing and it's on your side. If you're trying to create the perfect offer, that's going to slow you down. Unfortunately, medical education did not prepare us for the real world. In business, you learn by doing. So taking action and learning from them will put more dollars in your pocket, and it will get you to learn the skill sets you need to learn much faster than it would to just sit there and think about it. Think about, all the different parts of a package that needs to be put together and not actually delivering it to people, not actually making the offer to people. This is how business works. You do the thing, you read the results, and then you revamp it and do it again, over and over and over again. It's like surgery. Learning how to suture, did you get it right the first time? No. Did you get it right because you read a lot about it? No. You had the foundation. Now it's time to put it into action. Start putting things into action so that it becomes muscle memory, and then you become naturally really good at it. So the key takeaway from today is, number 1, to create trust before you make the ask, which may require a lot of interactions. It means being online, in newsletters, in the emails, making videos, getting everybody to know you, to see you, will eventually create that trust. And then number 2, just do the thing. Make the offers, create many, and do it in a way that speaks to the solution, not the technical tools you have to get them better, but really painting the picture how your package solution is a really easy choice for them to get out of their problem. And sometimes the offer is just a free call to invite them to get to know you, or it's a low cost call to have them understand what you offer and see if you guys are a match for each other. So take some time this week to think about your next offer, whether it be a free initial consultation or a low ticket for that consultation. Or if you've got a package to help with people's pain, speak to the pain point that your solution will solve it for them. And then I'll catch you next week. Take care. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a review and share it with a friend so more doctors can learn about direct care. Let's keep the conversation going on LinkedIn so we can help more doctors escape insurance and thrive in private practice. Thanks for listening. I'll talk with you next time. Take care.